Hello all. Thank you for tuning into the webinar to learn more about the AV Research Testbed on-base shuttle pilot RFP process. This webinar is hosted by US Ignite, led by me, Megan Histand of US Ignite, and my fellow colleagues Eric Werner and Scott Turnbull. US Ignite is a national nonprofit that is accelerating the smart city movement and creating value for an entire ecosystem by guiding communities into the connected future and creating a path for private sector growth and advancing technology research that's at the heart of smart city development. US Ignite initiated the AV Research Testbed and Shuttle Pilot in October 2019 in coordination with Fort Carson, neighboring Colorado Springs, and the University of Colorado's Research and Engineering Center for Unmanned Vehicles. This endeavor is funded by the U.S. Army Engineer Research and Development Center. It is designed to use research with AVs and sensor-based technologies to help the Department of Defense reduce transportation costs, improve public safety, and deliver faster services on military installation sites. Today's webinar will focus on RFP basics, including the RFP process and overview. Note that all participants will be on listen-only mode, though you can feel free to email us with any RFP-related questions that you have. Today's slide and a recording of the webinar will be available for viewing for all proposers later today. Let's go ahead and get started. The full RFP is available on US Ignite's website for viewing. Please be sure to read the RFP in its entirety to learn about the specific requirements in the RFP. All RFP questions are due to US Ignite by January 6th and will publicly post all received questions and answers on January 7th. RFP responses are due to US Ignite no later than January 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern. You should email your proposal directly to me, Megan Histand. Rest assured, US Ignite will confirm receipt of your proposals by email. As I mentioned, my fellow colleagues Scott and Eric are joining me as the hosts of today's webinar. The US Ignite team consists of several subject matter experts. I've included the contact information of a few of our team members on this slide. I'll now turn the webinar over to my colleague, Eric.
Thank you, Megan. Here on slide 5, we can see the key elements that make up a smart base and how the infrastructure works together. In the center is the cantonment area, including a security entry gate and operational buildings such as barracks, dining facilities, and offices, with a series of roads and parking lots that connect them. The AV shuttle pilot will operate on a route that services a series of locations to demonstrate how it may be able to address the current transportation challenges on the base. To better understand the impact of the shuttle on the environment around it, a number of external sensors, such as cameras, will be installed at points along the route to monitor traffic and human factors. A local wireless network design is underway and will be put in place to allow collection and management of the data from these sensors and the shuttle itself. While not directly included in this phase of the project, Colorado Springs is an adjacent community and home to many of the soldiers and staff working on the base. Future phases of this effort are sure to include transportation on and off the base. So let's get into the details about what the Autonomous Vehicles Research Testbed is. So on slide 6, we turn our focus to the AV Research Testbed specifically. Again, US Ignite is leading the project under contract from ERDIC through August of 2021. The objective of the project is to deploy a number of AVs and sensor-based technologies to reduce operational costs, improve public safety, and enhance the lives of soldiers and families that live and work on the installation. The goal of the project is to develop a comprehensive implementation plan for scaling AV technologies at Fort Carson and other Army bases. The partnership between US Ignite, ERDIC, Fort Carson, and the University of Colorado and the technology vendors, such as yourself, is key to the success of the project. The AV shuttle pilot is a cornerstone upon which the testbed is built, and your organization's experience, technology, and people are what the RFP is seeking. Right. So let's talk about the overview of Fort Carson's transportation profile. Fort Carson has presented us with a number of transportation challenges that make this environment unique from other municipal programs. First of all, there are a lot of single soldiers living in barracks who work, train, and eat in facilities spread across the installation. In contrast, there are also a large number of commuters in personal vehicles that overwhelm the parking lots in these same locations. Recognizing this need, Fort Carson has expended additional resources on its own to run 4 traditional shuttle routes that operate 7 days a week. These details of those routes can be found on their website and also on the link in the slide. The AV shuttle will help address gaps in the current service hours, destinations, or be used in times of peak demand. The goal is to run the pilot for a year with a possible 6-month extension depending on the cost of operations. For the pilot, 2 service areas have been identified and are shown in the included maps, which are also linked through a Google map link. The evening loop, as we call it, is located in the central area of the base and services the base exchange, commissary, and IV fitness center. The area has more traffic congestion and route complications, such as traffic signals and numerous intersection configurations. South of the center area is the airfield loop, located near Butts Army Airfield. This area is more open and less complicated in terms of traffic patterns and route requirements. For example, there are no stoplights included in this route. Once an AV shuttle vendor is selected, only one of these areas and routes will be selected for the pilot. I'll now turn it over to our colleague Scott to describe the data analytics.
Thank you very much, Eric. What differentiates this project from the standard AV pilot project is the desire to establish an analytics assessment and modeling framework that will help the Department of Defense measure and predict the outcomes and impacts of AVs on their installations. To that end, US Ignite is working with professors at the University of Colorado at Boulder to develop a data analysis and modeling platform that consumes data from the AV and cameras installed along the routes. We're currently designing a wireless network that will cover the area along the shuttle routes. Though the network design has not been finalized, the ideal situation would be to have the vehicle capable of connecting to most mainstream wireless technologies, such as LTE or DSRC. Project data need not be open, but a willingness to share the data that is available with the project team is necessary to facilitate the analytics and modeling goals of the Department of Defense. We'd also ask any AV owner to work in good faith with the data team to establish details for sharing sensor and calibration data, also placement of the devices, and to support their planning and modeling of the data team. The current aim is to have the shuttle provide sparse data updates such as location and status during operations. We would intend to offload dense data sets during off-hour windows, during maintenance, with a strong desire to make that as hands-off as possible. In cases where extremely dense data sets may not be practical for the network, a willingness to work with us to establish alternative methods to acquire the data set is highly desirable. This might include things like offloading data to physical media for transport to the data team. Lastly, I'd like to note that public safety officers have expressed a desire to view video streams from cameras inside the vehicle if they're present and have that capability. Now, I'd like to turn the webinar over to my colleague, Megan. She'll discuss the RFP elements and timeline.
Thank you, Scott. As y'all can see on this page, any questions regarding this RFP should be submitted by email to me on or before January 6th, 2020. All questions and answers made to US Ignite will be posted publicly on the US Ignite webpage, but don't worry, we will keep your identity secret. US Ignite is looking forward to receiving your proposal next month on January 17th. Proposers must submit a complete proposal and the format specified in the RFP. No other format will be considered. A proposal will consist of two separate documents, the technical proposal and the cost proposal. I'll dive deeper into these proposal contents in a few moments. Any proposal received after January 17th, 2020 by 8 p.m. Eastern will not be considered and will be rejected and returned without review. The evaluation period will begin soon after proposals are due. I'll also touch base on the evaluation details a few moments from now. In late January or early February, select responsive proposers may be required to make an oral presentation of their proposed solution to US Ignite and other project stakeholders. For this oral presentation, I envision that this would be a teleconference or video conference call. Additionally, select proposers may be invited to provide live demos at their facility or another location that is mutually agreed upon by the proposer and US Ignite. We imagine that these demonstrations will take place during the latter half of January 2020 or early in February 2020. We'll be sure to share more information with select proposers when this time comes near. And finally, we hope to have an AV partner or partners selected by the middle of February. And I've had a few questions sent to me recently regarding what start date a proposer should take into account for their project schedule, and you should assume a March 1st start date. I'm now going to dive deep into the details of what's required for the technical proposal. The page limit is 20 pages, so keep in mind that this 20-page limit does not include resumes or your appendices. The technical proposal should include the following information that is depicted in the slide: a cover page, an organization overview, references, a management summary, a teaming and organization structure, prior AV shuttle experience, a work plan, schedule, and overall support. And note that this will be like the overall meat of your proposal, and you should be sure to study Appendix A, Scope of Services, in detail to fully understand the requirements of this RFP and the specific operating requirements that we're looking for. We're also looking for a partner section, and we encourage proposals to involve small businesses or small disadvantaged business partners. And we'd also like, in the partner section, for you to indicate whether the prime organization or a partner organization qualifies as a small business or small disadvantaged business. Also, we'd like you to include resumes of proposed key staff. We are asking that each resume be limited to 2 pages. And like I noted before, these resumes do not count against the 20-page limit. And then there are several attachments that are required, and they include the Appendix D, which is the financial disclosure, and Appendix E, certification of bonding ability. And these documents do not count against the 20-page limit. The second key part of your proposal is the cost proposal. And to make putting together your cost proposal easy, we created Appendix B. And this is a simple table that depicts and breaks down the estimated cost for several key items to include in the cost proposal. The cost proposal that you fill out should support the scope of services contained in the RFP and should fully include all activities in your proposal. We intend to issue a fixed price contract for 1 year with a 6-month option period. to a suitable proposer or proposers who demonstrate the capacity to deliver the quality scope of services and is most responsive to the requirements detailed in the RFP. As I noted before, we would like the cost estimates in fixed price amounts, no time and material amounts. And we'd also like to see what economies of scale can be realized if a second AV is added. And adding a second AV and including a second AV in the proposal is completely optional. So as you can see in the table, the first column contains your fixed price cost estimates for year one with one AV running. The second column includes the fixed price cost estimates for year one with two AV runnings for the second AV. And like I noted, this is optional. And the third column includes the total fixed price cost for year one for AV number one and AV number two. And if you're not including AV number two in your cost proposal, then this total column will just equal the total cost of column one with one AV. You'll notice in Appendix B that the cost proposal contains lines A through H. Just please be sure to provide your fixed price amounts for all of these cost proposal components. And no other format will be accepted for the cost proposal, so please be sure to use this template so we can compare apples to apples when comparing cost proposals. Now I would like to dive deep into evaluation. When we received proposals on January 17th, the US Ignite team will first verify that the submitted proposals satisfy the proposal content requirements and qualify to be evaluated by the evaluation committee. And during this evaluation compliance review, US Ignite may reach out to you and ask for a clarification question or may ask you to supply additional documentation if something is flagged during the compliance review. And once your proposal makes it beyond the compliance review, we'll also make sure that a member of the evaluation team is not conflicted with anyone that is contained in your proposal. So there's no conflict of interest in both fact and appearance. Next, the evaluation committee team will review all proposals in accordance with the RFP, the evaluation criteria outlined in the RFP. And we will ensure that all proposals are reviewed in a fair, competitive, transparent, and in-depth manner. All evaluation factors outlined in this RFP are equally important and will have an impact on the overall recommendation for an award. And once US Ignite and its partners wrap up the evaluation phase, we will be providing each proposer feedback, including strengths and weaknesses of their proposal, regardless if they were selected for an award or not. As I mentioned, there are two phases of the evaluation phase, phase one and phase two. And phase one is when we will be taking a deep look at your cost proposal and your technical proposal. And each evaluation criteria will be scored on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being poor and 5 being excellent. The evaluation criteria that are all equally weighted include knowledge of the project requirements as described in the technical proposal, prior AV shuttle experience, references, and the ability to meet the requirements outlined in Appendix A. Number 2, the work plan, schedule, and overall support as you describe in your technical proposal. Number 3 is the qualifications, range of experience, proposed key staff, management summary, teaming and organization structure, and the resumes. And 4 is the project cost and overall value. As I noted before, it's very important for us to make awards to small businesses and small disadvantaged businesses. Therefore, we are awarding bonus evaluation points to proposals that involve small businesses and small disadvantaged businesses. Proposals that involve the noted small business category concerns, where at least 50% of the proposed contract budget goes to a small business concern, will receive 3 bonus evaluation points added to their total evaluation score. And proposals that involve small business category concerns, where at least 25% of the proposed budget goes to a small business concern, will receive 1 bonus evaluation point added to the total evaluation score computed for the 4 evaluation criteria depicted on this slide. And just keep in mind that it's important to remember that any commitments that a prime proposer or prime contractor makes to a small business will be part of the contract and must be maintained throughout the term of the contract if an award is made. Now I will dive deep into phase 2. Based on the results of phase 1, US Ignite will invite 1 or more top proposers to provide a demo of the AV solution to be presented at the proposer site or another site of the proposer's choosing. And the proposer will allow US Ignite to inspect their facilities as part of the demo presentation. And one key important note is about insurance, and I will go into insurance a little in a few moments. But if a proposer is selected to provide a demo for US Ignite and its partner, they will need to provide evidence of insurance in amounts and types deemed sufficient by US Ignite, and they will need to call US Ignite as an additional name insured. And please note that all proposer costs associated with the demo will be the responsibility of the proposer, though US Ignite and its partners will cover the expenses related to US Ignite team travel to the demo site. The evaluation criteria is depicted on this slide. There are 3 key evaluation criteria. Again, they will be scored on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being poor and 5 being excellent. The first criteria is the ability for the AV and the proposer to meet the requirements outlined in the Scope of Services, Appendix A, and for the AV to perform in a live demo situation. Number 2 is the proposer's approach to address the Appendix A Scope of Services and how they detail how they will meet the project requirements. And also during this demo phase, we anticipate that there will be a meeting face-to-face where the proposer will present a PowerPoint presentation or another presentation of their choice to US Ignite and its partners. And the third criteria, evaluation criteria, are project cost and overall value as described in the cost proposal. And we'll be sure to go over the cost proposal in detail at the demo. I wanted to quickly also touch on insurance and bonding requirements. You should be sure to review Appendix C, Appendix D, and Appendix E in detail to learn about the RFP's insurance and bonding requirements. Please note that you don't need to have insurance and bonding requirements in place in order to respond to this RFP, though these requirements must be in place before the selected successful proposer or proposers begin any contract work come March 1st. And if you have any specific questions regarding Appendix C, Appendix D, or Appendix E, feel free to reach out to us. I know there is a great deal of legal language in there, and we want to be sure that all proposers are comfortable with the content that is outlined in those appendices. Now I will turn the webinar over to my colleague, Eric, and he's going to go over some questions and answers that we have received so far from proposers. As I noted before, we're going to post all questions and answers that we've received. They're due on January 6th, but we'll be sure to keep a running list and keep this information available for all proposers. Eric.
Excellent. Thank you. So we'll review some questions that help summarize some of the content of the RFP, but please be sure to see the RFP for the complete explanations. So who will review the AV shuttle proposals? So the full proposals will be evaluated by US Ignite, the University of Colorado Boulder, Fort Carson, and the US Army Engineer Research and Development Center, CERTIC. So together as a team, we will review the evaluation criteria. And question number 2 is what review criteria will be used. So as we mentioned, 4 review criteria will include the following: knowledge of project requirements, your work plan, schedule, and overall support, qualifications, experience of the organization and staff, project costs, and overall value. Please refer to the RFP for full descriptions. The US Ignite and our partners are looking forward to working with the leaders in this industry to make this project a success, and we appreciate the effort required to respond to this RFP. Question number 3, can other shuttle routes be proposed? Yes, the configuration of the final shuttle route or routes can be designed to match the functional capability of the shuttle while maximizing the utility to Fort Carson. The area of service cannot change due to the local network design efforts already underway. Question 4, can multiple vendors partner to propose a solution? Yes, the vendors are responsible for managing that partnership and responding as a single entity. Question number 5, is US Ignite accepting proposals for AVs that are not passenger shuttles? Currently not under this RFP, because additional RFPs will be released for non-shuttle applications as part of the test bed project. Question 6, what facilities will be made available to support the operation of the AV shuttle? Recognizing the need for certain services, Fort Carson is looking into indoor, temperature-controlled garage space with access to electrical power for AV charging. For accurate cost estimates, please respond assuming no indoor garage space is available, breaking out this expense as a possible cost savings if one is identified. Question 7, what data from the shuttle operations will vendors need to provide? Vendors will need to provide basic operations and performance data collected during shuttle operations, and would be willing to work with the data analytics team to provide and facilitate access to what data is available. Question 8, does the shuttle need to be accessible? Accessibility is desired and a not required capability, so that ridership are soldiers that are expected to be able-bodied by definition. What is the maximum posted speed limit on the shuttle route? The maximum posted speed limit on the shuttle route is 30 miles per hour. Will the shuttle be operating on regular roadways with traffic or on a protected path or pedestrian way? The AV shuttle must be capable of operating on regular vehicle roadways with traffic, cyclist, and pedestrian crossings. Operation on dedicated cart paths or active pedestrian walkways is not required or considered. Question 11, can non-US citizens participate in the testbed project even though it is on Fort Carson? Yes, non-US citizens can participate. All personnel who are requesting unescorted access to Fort Carson and not in possession of a DoD ID card or installation pass badge will undergo a National Crime Information Center background check. This check involves verifying individual identity and checking their criminal history. Question 12, if my company is selected by US Ignite for a contract, what start date should we assume? For the purposes of creating work plan, proposers can assume a March 1st, 2020 start date. Where can I learn about the specific operating and system requirements of the AV? Please refer to Appendix A, Scope of Services. And this concludes our webinar. Appreciate everyone's time. And again, send all your questions to Megan at US Ignite. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your time, and we look forward to receiving your proposals next month. Thank you, and happy holidays.